All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast. As things continue to go from bad to worse, here we are in the middle of the month of August, and the Bronx Bombers are just 60 and 60. The New York Yankees have never been more than 10 games above 500 at any point this season. And since the All Star break, the Yankees are just 11 and 18. New York is in last place in the American League as they are 14 and a half games behind the first place Baltimore Orioles, while they are also 6.5 games behind the Toronto Blue Jays for the final wild card spot. And with just 42 games left to go in the regular season, in my opinion, you can all but stick a fork in the Yankees for 2023 because at this point, they're probably going to have to go at least 27 and 15 over their final 42 games in order to have a realistic shot to get into the postseason. The Yankees right now, following their loss tonight to the Atlanta Braves, are flirting with missing the playoffs for the first time since 2016, while they're also toying with their first losing season since 1992. New York has struggled immensely here to begin the second half. They've only won one series, which was against the lowly Kansas City Royals. They set the bad tone coming right out of the break, dropping 2 out of 3 in Denver to the Colorado Rockies, and it has just continued. You look at the squad right now, they've lost 7 out of 9, including their last four. And you think about what just happened on Sunday when they blew that 4-run lead in the ninth inning to the Marlins and lost that contest. Now you have to deal with an Atlanta Braves team that is the best team in baseball so far this season. They beat the Yankees 11-3 last night. They shut them out 5-0 tonight, and then the Yankees still have one more contest against the Braves tomorrow night, and they got to try to figure out Charlie Morton. You look at this team right now, and I'll tell you like this: it is not happening. And CJ, I know that you're happy with the results, obviously, tonight. And I'll tell you like this: the way that the Yankees are playing and the way that the Braves are playing as well, I have to tend to agree with you that we're probably going to be talking about a sweep tomorrow when this is all said and done. But for the Yankees, like I said, you can stick a fork in this team because now they've got to come back this weekend and host the Boston Red Sox. And I talked about this the other night. If things get bad for the Yankees like they've been right now, we could see the Boo Birds out in full effect this weekend because the Red Sox are playing some solid baseball right now. And let's say we have a scenario where the Red Sox go to the Bronx and take 2 out of 3, or the Red Sox blow out the Yankees in one of those games. The Boo Birds are definitely going to be out because the Yankees don't like to lose, but they darn sure their fan base does not like to see this team lose to Boston. But it's going to be an uphill battle for the Yankees to try to make the playoffs from this point. They got 3 with the Red Sox this weekend. They host the Washington Nationals next week for 3. And I know that the Nationals are currently in last place in the National League East, but they're playing some solid baseball right now. And it would not surprise me to see the Nats at least climb out of the cellar before season's end. But then from there, the Yankees have 3 at Tampa, 4 on the road against Detroit, but then 3 at Houston. And we've seen what the Astros have been doing as of late. But the Yankees, still for the month of September, they have series with the Milwaukee Brewers, who are currently leading the National League Central. They got 4 more with the Red Sox at Fenway. They've got 2 3-game series with the Toronto Blue Jays, a team that is currently in possession of the final wild card spot in the American League. So I'm looking at it like this: we could probably be talking about the Yankees not making it this year because you're looking at the way things are. You figure Baltimore or Tampa, they're probably going to be the top wild card team in the American League. And the way things are going right now, it looks like Baltimore is going to win the East. So that top wild card spot will probably go to Tampa. Houston or Texas is definitely going to be a lock for one of those other wild card teams. And I don't see the Blue Jays falling off so much that the Yankees could catch them. I mean, the Mariners, they've been knocking on the door of Toronto. I know that they've lost their last 3. And then you got the Red Sox right there as well. it's done for the Yankees. They're not going to be a playoff team. Again, this team might end up finishing with a losing record. And like I said before, maybe the best thing possible for the Yankees would be to miss the postseason because then Hal Steinbrenner, their owner, his hand might be forced to make some changes. I don't think that he's going to make the changes that are necessary. And I say this because, and I'm going to continue to say this. First and foremost, Brian Cashman needs to go. He's the family friend. The Steinbrenners have known his family for a long time, but at the end of the day, this is getting in the way of them going out there and being a successful team. I know that the Yankees, got to the LCS last year and they got swept by the Astros, but you look at the moves that Brian Cashman made over the offseason and then the moves that he did not make just prior to the trade deadline this year, and I cannot harp on this enough. Everybody around the Yankees got better at the trade deadline, and they decided to stand pat. That is not going to cut it. I think at the end of the day, Aaron Boone is going to be the fall guy for this Yankees mess. At the end of the day, for me, Aaron Boone was just a guy that, could be a puppet, if you will, for Brian Cashman. And I know some people might disagree with me. Some people might agree with me. That's all good. That's all Aaron Boone is there for. I mean, you figure to me, Brian Cashman threw Joe Girardi under the bus. Joe Girardi was given a rebuild and he did better with it than most people expected. And then the Yankees showed him the door. And then you bring in Aaron Boone. I don't see Aaron Boone as that guy who's going to be able to light a fire under this team. And this team needs somebody to light a fire under them. I mean, it's a scenario where the Yankees need somebody in that clubhouse, not just a manager, players who have that over my dead body mentality as far as what's going on with losing right now, because this is not good for them. And you're talking about a franchise that has not had a losing season in more than 30 years. They're flirting with it right now. You're 60 and 60 with 42 games to go. I can't even say it's gut check time because honestly, gut check time was at the All Star break. And you came out and you dropped 2 out of 3 in Denver to the Colorado Rockies. And it's only gone downhill since then. So you're looking at this Yankee team and you really don't know where the reprieve is going to be. But I'll tell you like this: if they miss the playoffs, which they more than likely will, if they finish with a losing record, which is a possibility, I do believe that this team is in need of an organizational overhaul. And that would mean Hal Steinbrenner being willing to move on from Brian Cashman. Would he do that? I am not sure. That's going to be the biggest what if because you can bring in a new manager all you want next season. But as long as Brian Cashman is putting the team together, the results are not going to be that much different. The Yankees have been abysmal hitting this season. You think about the Carlos Rodon failed experiment and the money wasted right there, of course. And when you think about this lineup, Aaron Judge, of course, he had a big season last year, but he's back to being injury prone again. Giancarlo Stanton, all he has been injury prone since coming to the Yankees. And we're talking about a guy who was once an NL MVP in Miami. He's a shell of that guy because he's not even hitting for power anymore. You're talking about a guy who could barely hit 200 at this point in his career, and the Yankees are stuck with that deal. At this point, the Yankees are 60 and 60. It would not surprise me to see them leave Atlanta tomorrow night 60 and 61. I guarantee you that, the sports pages and the shock jocks, if you will, in New York City, they're gonna have they're gonna have a field day with this come tomorrow, being that the Yankees are playing 500 baseball, and they'll have a bigger field day come Thursday morning if the Yankees are a sub 500 team. I'm not surprised that the Yankees are at 500 at this point, given the way that they're playing right now. And I said it following the Sunday loss to the Marlins. That might be it. The way that they lost that game, because it basically looked like they had the game in the bag until they didn't. And you can't have a scenario like that against the Marlins and then turn around and have to play the best team in baseball right after that and expect, you know what, we can just do a quick 180 and everything's going to be okay. The Yankees walked into a buzzsaw in Atlanta. They're facing a good team. Braves jumped on them early last night. They did it again tonight, and we're seeing the difference between these teams. I think Aaron Boone is out of cliches. I think Aaron Boone is out of speeches trying to get this team motivated to play better. They are what they are right now. They're a mediocre team, and let's see how the Yankees respond over the final month and a half. At the end of the day, I think it's going to take more than a Christmas miracle for them to be a postseason bound team come October. And with that said, wholesale changes definitely need to be made in the Bronx. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now you can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. CJ, as always, I definitely appreciate you chiming in and commenting. I know you're feeling good about the wins tonight. I know you're feeling good as far as how the Braves are doing overall. I haven't uh, taking the time out, if you will, to see what the Braves' magic number is. Maybe the next time that we talk baseball and you're on here, I guess we could start talking magic number for the Braves nonetheless, as they're well on their way to clinching the division and possibly the home field advantage in the National League. But we'll save that for another day. But once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin, and I'm signing off and saying thanks once again for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. Be well, everybody.